In a proof of stake network such as the Solana network, stakers are going to be SOL holders that deliver or stake their SOL onto these validators in such a way that it gives weight to the validator's decisions and ultimately to their ability to produce blocks. And since producing blocks creates rewards, stakers are directly impacting the number of rewards that these validators get in terms of the SOL that gets dropped into their wallets. So if the validators are getting rewards, well, what's in it for the stakers? If we want the network to be healthy and for everybody to properly contribute to the network, then we would really like this to be mutual as far as how the rewards are delivered. In fact, stakers do get rewarded, and they get rewarded thanks to the annual percentage yield, or APY. APY delivers a return on staked coins. So after a year, if a staker has staked, let's say, 100 SOL with a validator, and that validator happens to have a 5% APY, well, when we multiply this out, we're going to see that we actually have 105 SOL in that account at the end of the year. Yes, our wallets can actually increase the amount of SOL in them simply by staking them onto validators. Now, staking is optional. I could just sit on the 100 SOL, but then it doesn't grow over the course of the year. And so this is absolutely a wonderful benefit to participating in a network such as Solana. Now, different validators are going to offer different APY amounts. We might have one validator with a 5% APY and another validator with 6% APY. But why would different validators have different APYs? And that's going to certainly impact stakers in trying to decide which validator to stake on. And so naturally, every validator wants to have as high of an APY as possible. Well, the APY is going to be based on proper network participation. The more a validator participates in the network, the higher the APY is going to be. As a result, factors such as uptime and voting success, these are going to determine how well the validator is participating in the network, and that's going to drive up the APY. Meanwhile, if we have outages or we don't have good voting success, this is going to drive APY down. So you happen to stake on a validator that went out for a few days? Well, unfortunately, during that validator's outage, no return on the staked Solana was going to be made. Another major factor in APY is validator commission. This is an interesting concept. We mentioned that validators are obtaining block rewards by producing blocks, but this doesn't actually produce all that much in the way of rewards. The validators need to be able to profit from this participation and to stay online. And so Solana Network allows a validator to earn some amount of commission that comes out of the APY yield. So in our example earlier down here, this staker earned 5 SOL after a year had passed in that account. Well, let's say that that validator has a 10% commission set. They are going to take 10% of the 5 SOL that was earned, which means that in total, only 4.5 SOL was delivered to the staker. This commission becomes part of the rewards, meaning that this validator took 0.5 SOL over the course of the year from that one staker's set of rewards. Again, this is a mutually beneficial situation. We mentioned we want both the validator and the staker to benefit, and in this case they do. The validator earns a little bit of the SOL, and most of the SOL still goes to the staker. So this begs the question, what is a typical APY? And what are typical commission percentages for our validators? Well, a typical APY as of the time of this video is around 7 to 7.5%. This number is going to go down over the course of time because the Solana network is designed to slowly reduce the APY down to a minimum amount that's been predetermined. Meanwhile, a typical commission is between 4 and 10% for most validators. and some validators will run at 0% as a way to attract stake. This commission amount can be changed in the future, and so it's a great way for a new validator to come online and start participating in the network. So the question that we have to ask at the end of this conversation is, which validator do I want to stake my coins on? Keeping in mind that as stakers, if we stake our SOL on a validator, that validator is getting rewards, not only block rewards, but likely some amount of commission that is coming out of the yield that I would otherwise get. Well, naturally, the first thing we want to consider is simply the total APY. The APY takes into account things such as the uptime and the vote success and outages. And we also want to look ideally at lower commission percentages, keeping in mind that some of the validators that have been around the longest are going to have commission, and it's okay for our validators to earn some amount of rewards based on that. And certainly we also want to look at the history and the reputation of the validator, meaning has this validator been online for a long time? And for that matter, are they well known in the community? Do they participate in the community? And so these are ways, again, of deciding which validator should have some amount of rewards based on the SOL that I want to stake. For example, we here at LakeStake, we have a long operating history, and we like to give back to the community with educational content. And there are many other validators that have positive contributions to the community and have great history and reputation as well. So remember, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and always remember to stake at the lake.